welcome to Happy Story Time. We're going to be reading a story, but first we're going to be reading Bible, and then we're going to do the subs, and then we're going to be reading Pilgrims. Hope you enjoy. Make sure to like, button, subscribe, and hit the bell on this video. I am crazy, and I never do anything normal, so bye.
If anyone can just tell me what just happened, maybe I don't want to know. Okay. So, all right. We're on Exodus chapter 27. This is the English Standard Version. We're in the middle of the description of what they're to do to make the tabernacle. So let me go ahead. Once everybody's opened their Bibles and ready, let's go ahead and get started. This is Exodus chapter 27, English Standard Version. Ready? Here we go. You shall make the altar of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be square, and its height shall be 3 cubits. And you shall make horns for it on its 4 corners. Its horns shall be of one piece with it, and you shall overlay it with bronze. You shall make pots for it to receive its ashes, and shovels and basins, and forks and fire pans. You shall make all its utensils of bronze. You shall also make for it a grating, a network of bronze, and on the net you shall make 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners, and you shall set it under the ledge of the altar, so that the net extends halfway down the altar. And you shall make poles for the altar, poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with bronze. And the poles shall be put through the rings, so that the poles are on the 2 sides of the altar when it is carried. You shall make it hollow with boards, as it has been shown you on the mountain, so shall it be made. You shall make the court of the tabernacle. On the south side the court shall have hangings of fine twined linen, 100 cubits long for one side. Its 20 pillars and their 20 bases shall be of bronze. But the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. I don't think it's fillets there. I think it's fillets. But I could be wrong. If you think that I'm wrong, put your comment. Go ahead. And likewise for its length on the north side there shall be hanging 100 cubits long, its pillars 20 and their bases 20 of bronze. But the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side there shall be hangings for 50 hangings for 50 cubits with 10 pillars and 10 bases. The breadth of the court on the front to the east shall be 50 cubits. The hangings for the one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, and their 3 pillars and 3 bases. On the other side the hangings shall be 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and 3 bases. For the gate of the court there shall be a screen 20 cubits long of blue and purple and scarlet yarns and fine twined linen embroidered with needlework. It shall have 4 pillars and with them 4 bases. All the pillars around the court shall be filleted with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver and their bases of bronze. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, the breadth 50, and the height 5 cubits, with hangings of fine twined linen and bases of bronze. All the utensils of the tabernacle for every use, and all its pegs, and all the pegs of the court shall be of bronze. You shall command the people of Israel that they bring to you pure beaten olive oil for the light, that a lamp may regularly be set up to burn in the tent of meeting outside the veil that is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall tend it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever to be observed throughout their generations by the people of Israel. That is the end of chapter 27. So next time we get to talk about the garments that the priests wore in the Israelite community. All right, so we are on, and I left my book over there, but we're on chapter 20, I think it's 7. Is that right? 27?
We're one ahead in the Bible.
Gotcha. We're on chapter 26 of the Pilgrim's Progress. How long is a cubit? A cubit is approximately the length from your elbow to the end of your finger. And yes, that is a not precise measurement. So a cubit might be longer for some people than other people, but I think the general idea is that it's about 18 inches. So if you measure 18 inches, that's about an average cubit. So anyway, all right. And it's a standard measurement in the ancient world. Lots of cultures use that measurement. So it is what it is. All right. Okay, so in the last chapter, I like usually I have the book in front of me, and so I'm kind of glancing through it. But I remember what happened to Faithful because because Vanity Fair is like just so thoughtful. They think of others before they think of themselves. And in the case of Faithful, they really just pampered him. They gave him the whole spa treatment and sent him to a resort hotel and everything. And he was just living the dream. And here's Kimberly to say what really happened.
So, if you guys remember what they did to Faithful, he basically got executed. He did get executed, yeah. They're like, so here are the charges against you. You did this and this and this, and you blasphemed our Lord, and what say you? He's like, yeah, and I'd do it again. Not exactly like that, but if you want more detail, you should read you should listen to the last chapter being read by Dad.
Actually, last chapter was a really good chapter.
It was a really good chapter. And,
Even though it was sad.
Yeah. And,
but also happy.
Yeah.
Because where did Faithful go?
He went to heaven, and
he went to the celestial city.
As he died, Christian saw a chariot come down from the heavens and pick him up and take him to Mount Zion. And he's like, I have to walk now?
Was it Christian that saw him, or was it the narrator?
It might have been the narrator. I don't know.
I honestly don't remember. But if you want to find out, listen to the last chapter again. All right.
Hope you have a good day. And here's Dad, who's going to read us a story.
Hello. So when a character dies, my false synopsis will let him live. See? All right. Okay. So we're on chapter 26, like I said earlier. Actually, I said it wrong, and Kimmy corrected me earlier. And sorry about the wiggly phone. All right, so I remember they did terrible things to Faithful and then sent him to glory. Yep, that's basically it. All right, so here we are, chapter 26, hopeful and by ends friends. Say that 5 times fast.
By ends.
That. All right, so here is chapter 26, hopeful and by ends friends. But as for Christian, he had some respite, and was remanded back to prison, so he there remained for a space. But he who overrules all things, having the power of their rage on his own hand, so wrought it about, that Christian for that time escaped them, and went his way. As I recall, that actually happened to Jesus one time. The people were stoning him, and then all of a sudden he wasn't there. I will have to look up that verse, so more to follow. All right, but I'll just keep reading for now. And as he went, he sang, saying, Well, faithful, thou hast faithfully professed unto thy Lord, with whom thou shalt be blessed, when faithless ones with all their vain delights are crying out under their hellish plights. Sing, faithful, sing, and let thy name survive, for though they killed thee, thou art yet alive. Now I saw in my dream that Christian went not forth alone, for there was one whose name was Hopeful, being so made by the beholding of Christian and Faithful in their words and behavior, in the suffering at the fair, who joined himself unto him, and entering into a brotherly covenant, told him that he would be his companion. Thus one died to bear testimony to the truth, and another rises out of his ashes to be a companion with Christian in his pilgrimage. This hopeful also told Christian that there were many more of the men in the fair that would take their time and follow after. So I saw that quickly after they were got out of the fair, they overtook one that was going before them, whose name was Bunyan. So they said to him, What countryman, sir? And how far go you this way? He told them that he came from the town of Fair Speech, and he was going to the celestial city, but told them not his name. From Fair Speech, said Christian, is there any good that lives there? Bunyan. Yes, said Bunyan, I hope so. Christian. Pray, sir, what may I call you? Said Christian. Bunyan. I am a stranger to you, and you to me. If you be going this way, I shall be glad of your company. If not, I must be content. Christian. This town of Fair Speech, said Christian, I have heard of, and as I remember, they say it's a wealthy place. Bunyan. Yes, I will assure you that it is, and I have very many rich kindred there. Christian. Pray, who are your kindred there, if a man may be so bold? Bunyan. Almost the whole town, and in particular my lord Turnabout, my lord Time Server, my lord Fair Speech, from whose ancestors that town first took its name. Also Mr. Smoothman, Mr. Facing Both Ways, Mr. Anything, and the parson of our parish, Mr. Two Tongues, was my mother's own brother, my father's side. And to tell you the truth, I am become a gentleman of good quality, yet my great-grandfather was but a waterman, looking one way and rowing another, and I got most of my estate by the same occupation. Christian. Are you a married man? Bunyan. Yes, and my wife is a very virtuous woman, the daughter of a virtuous woman. She was my Lady Faning's daughter, therefore she came of a very honorable family, and is arrived to such a pitch of breeding that she knows how to carry it to all, even to prince and peasant. 'Tis true, we somewhat differ in religion from those of the stricter sort, yet but in two small points. Excuse me, that was a 2-page turn. First, we never strive against wind and tide. Secondly, we are always most zealous when religion goes in the silver slippers. We love much to walk with him in the street, if the sun shines and the people applaud him. Then Christian stepped a little aside to his fellow hopeful, saying, It runs in my mind that this is one Bunyan of Fair Speech, and if it be he, we have as very a knave in our company as dwelleth in all these parts. Then said Hopeful, Ask him, methinks he should not be ashamed of his name. So Christian came up with him again and said, Sir, you talk as if you knew something more than all the world doth, and if I take not my mark amiss, I deem I have half a guess of you. Is not your name Mr. Bunyan of Fair Speech? Bunyan. This is not my name, but indeed it is a nickname that is given me by some that cannot abide me, and I must be content to bear it as a reproach, as other good men have borne theirs before me. Christian. But did you never give an occasion to men to call you by this name? Bunyan. Never, never. The worst that ever I did to give them an occasion to give me this name was that I had always the luck to jump in my judgment with the present way of the times, whatever it was, and my chance was to get thereby. But if things are thus cast upon me, let me count them a blessing, but let not the malicious load me therefore with reproach. Christian. I thought indeed that you were the man that I heard of, and to tell you what I think, I fear this name belongs to you more properly than you are willing we should think it doth. Bunyan. Well, if you will thus imagine, I cannot help it. You shall find me a fair company keeper, if you will still admit me your associate. Christian, if you will go with us, you must go against wind and tide, the which I perceive is against your opinion. You must also own religion in his rags, as well as when in his silver slippers, and stand by him too, when bound in irons, as well as when he walketh the streets with applause. By ends. You must not impose nor lord it over my faith. Leave me to my liberty, and let me go with you. Christian, not a step farther, unless you will do in what I propound as we. Then, said Byends, I shall never desert my old principles, since they are harmless and profitable. If I may not go with you, I must do as I bid before you overtook me, even go by myself, until some overtake me that will be glad of my company. Now I saw in my dream that Christian and Hopeful forsook him, and kept their distance before him, but one of them, looking back, saw 3 men following Mr. Byends, and behold, as they came up with him, he made them a very low congee, and they also gave him a compliment. If you know what the word congee, that's C-O-N-G-E-E, C-O-N-G-E-E, if you know that word, or if you can look it up, go ahead and put it in the comments. That'd be great. The men's names were Mr. Hold the World, Mr. Moneylove, Mr. Save All, men that Mr. Byends had formerly been acquainted with, for in their minority they were schoolfellows, and taught by one Mr. Gripeman, a schoolmaster in Lovegain, which is a market town in the country of Coveting in the north. This schoolmaster taught them the art of getting, either by violence, cozenage, flattering, lying, or by putting on a guise of religion. And these 4 gentlemen had attained much of the art of their master, so that they could each of them have kept such a school themselves. So Granny Bear says congee sounds like a deep bow or a deep bow. A deep bow, probably. I'm not sure. I will look it up if we don't have a for sure definition. Anyway, I'll keep going. Well, when they had, as I said, thus saluted each other, Mr. Moneylove said to Mr. Byends, Who are they upon the road before us? For Christian and Hopeful were yet within view. Byends. They are a couple of far countrymen that after their mode are going on pilgrimage. Mr. Moneylove. Alas, why did they not stay, that we might have had their good company? For they and we and you, sir, I hope, are all going on pilgrimage. Byends. We are so indeed, but the men before us are so rigid, and love so much their own notions, and do also so lightly esteem the opinions of others, that let a man be ever so godly, yet if he jumps not with them in all things, they thrust him quite out of their company. Mr. Save-All. That is bad. But we read of some that are righteous overmuch, and such men's rigidness prevails with them, to judge and condemn all but themselves. But I pray, what and how many were the things wherein you differed? Byends. Why, they, after their headstrong manner, conclude that it is their duty to rush on their journey all weathers, and I am for waiting for wind and tide. They are for hazarding all for God at a clap, and I am for taking all advantages to secure my life and estate. They are for holding their notions, though all other men be against them, but I am for religion in what, and so far as the times and my safety will bear it. They are for religion when in rags and contempt, but I am for him when he walks in his silver slippers, in the sunshine and with applause. Mr. Hold the World. Aye, and hold you there still. Good, Mr. Byends. For my part, I can count him but a fool, that having the liberty to keep what he has, shall be so unwise as to lose it. Let us be wise as serpents. It is best to make hay while the sun shines. You see how the bee lieth still in winter, and bestirs her only when she can have profit with pleasure. God sends sometimes rain and sometimes sunshine. If they be such fools to go through the first, yet let us be content to take fair weather along with us. For my part, I like that religion best that will stand with the security of God's good blessings unto us. For who can imagine that is ruled by his reason, since God has bestowed upon us the good things of life, but that he would have us keep them for his sake? Abraham and Solomon grew rich in religion, and Job says that a good man shall lay up gold as dust. But he must not be such as the men before us, if they be as you have described them. Mr. Sable, I think that we are all agreed in this matter, and therefore there needs no more words about it. Mr. Moneylove, no, there needs no more words about this matter, indeed, for he that believes neither scripture nor reason, and you see we have both on our side, neither knows his own liberty nor seeks his own safety. By ends. My brethren, we are, as you see, going all on pilgrimage, and for our better diversion from things that are bad, give me leave to propound unto you this question. Suppose a man, a minister, or a tradesman, etc., should have an advantage lie before him to get the good blessings of this life, yet so as that he can by no means come by them, except, in appearance at least, he becomes extraordinary zealous in some points of religion that he meddled not with before. May he not use this means to attain his end, and yet be a right honest man. And that is the end of chapter 27. They're kind of in the middle of of their little discussion there, but yeah. So basically,
They think they're right and they're wrong.
yeah, these people are like, we can still live in the world and, just enjoy the world, and we're still going to go to the celestial city, so it's all good. It's basically what they're saying.
We'll make it eventually.
All right.
We'll just put it off.
Yep, put it off. All right, so we are done for tonight, and I hope that you're enjoying the story. We've got about a dozen chapters left, and I know we're doing these one at a time, which makes shorter episodes, but there is a lot of depth and wisdom in each chapter, so I don't want to go through it too quickly and miss stuff. So I will see you next time, hopefully tomorrow, and God bless you. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye.